Today I will show you the best example of an e-commerce brand that is winning in a dying industry. I'm going to break down exactly how they're doing it, covering their product, their pricing, the ads they're running, and the full funnel they're using to turn their traffic into customers. The brand we will talk about today is in the wine industry. And the wine industry right now has two major problems. The first problem is that young people are drinking way less wine. And on top of that, they are also trying to make healthier decisions. The second problem is that the wine industry is filled with brands that all look the same. But that is why I want to introduce you to Aaron, the founder of Medley Wine, because Aaron, he made three major bets when he launched Medley. The first bet was that he wanted to break the mold. So instead of doing a bottle, he wanted to do a pouch. The second bet he made was to make a healthier option, so 0 sugars and low sulfites. And the third bet he made was to go against the industry norm and sell exclusively online. And if you take a look at it, those bets for sure paid off, because Aaron has seen consistent growth over the last many months, where he is winning even though the industry is in decline. He's winning with premium pricing, where he's using no discounting in his ads, and he is up against legacy competitors that are doing billions. So let's take a look at exactly how he's doing this by looking at their product and their pricing. When you go to Medley Wine, what you will quickly see is they actually have a quite limited product offering. They only have 4 different products, and one of them is a limited release. But what you will also see is that pricing-wise, they are actually quite expensive. So they are pricing themselves at $54 to $58 for a pouch. But comparing that to a premium wine that is around $15 and $20, that can seem pretty steep. So instead of saying that this pouch has this many liters in it, they're instead doing a 1 pouch equals 4 bottles, which is $14 a bottle. So they are reframing what you are buying. You're not buying a pouch, you're buying 4 bottles of wine. And with this price reframing, they actually anchor up in the market, meaning that instead of comparing themselves to the cheap options, they are comparing themselves to the premium options. So for the premium wine buyer, buying Medley seems like very good value for money. And for the cheap consumer, it's very, very easy to move up market, because the jump is only a very, very small jump. So the way they're doing this is by decomposing the bundle. Instead of advertising the actual price, which is $54, they are advertising it as $14 per bottle, making Medley seem more like good value for money. The next thing you would see when you go to their website is the way they are trying to increase their average order value. So when you go to any product page on Medley's website, what you will see is this small table where you can clearly show that buying 1 pouch versus 2 versus 3 versus 4 has a laddered savings. So this is a commitment ladder, more specifically actually a quantity ladder, where for each extra pouch you add, you are getting quite significant savings. And there's multiple reasons why this is a good idea. First of all, it increases your average order value, but it also decreases your cost, because sending a package with 1 pouch versus 2 pouches doesn't cost twice as much. So every step you take where you're increasing your commitment actually gives you something back. And that means that the customers are voluntarily increasing their average order value, because it doesn't feel like discounted. It feels more like they're getting something for doing something. And they are actually taking this even a step further by also adding in subscription and increasing the savings even more with subscription. On top of that, when you go to their site, you can also see they're only running one offer, and that is free shipping on all subscriptions, to give you another notch to become not only a one-time customer, but a recurring customer. What they're doing is they're trying to move their customers from a default 1 order at a time to a subscription basis. And the way they do it is by doing the one-time bundles is between $94 to $158, or you can subscribe and save and do it for $84 to $138. And if we go back and look at the quantity ladder, what you can see here is that you're not only saving like roughly 40%, you're also getting free shipping on top, which makes this a very, very good decision to do because it's now cheaper than just buying 2 pouches. So let's see how they're actually getting people into the site so they can see these offers. One thing they do a lot is they're running a bunch of meta ads, but the algorithm has shifted over the last couple of years. Before 2024, targeting was the way you would win on meta, and the marketer would pick a very narrow audience. They would run 5 to 10 ads towards that audience, and then the creative was more seen as a variable. But post the Andromeda update, creatives is now the winning factor. The algorithm will pick the audience. So what you need here is a ton of ads to signal to the algorithm who your audience is, and so they can actually go and show them to the right people. And that means the creative is the targeting. And when we take a look at Medley's ad accounts and the ads they have live, what we can see is that they have 150 ads running at every given point. On top of that, they're actually adding new ads and switching out ads every single week. But when you then go and break down how they're doing that, because that is a crazy volume, what you can see is they are breaking their ads into 3 stages. They have a very, very clear awareness stage, they have a very, very clear consideration stage, and a very clear conversion stage. Or instead of creating like 5 to 10 ads every single week and having to come up with 1,000 ideas all the time, they are actually doing ad formats. So in the awareness stage, they're doing like origin story, they're doing lifestyle products, they're doing educational videos. In the consideration stage, it's us versus them. It won't wreck your macros. And then in the conversion stage, they're doing more of occasion-based, that you're going to feel good tomorrow. So a lot more benefit-oriented creatives and messaging. And then they're also, of course, doing very product-heavy videos and UGC. So you both get the social proof and get a better understanding of the product and what you're actually getting. And you can actually steal this framework. So instead of going out and like having to every week come up with new ideas, what you have to do is take a look at your product and then look at what angles does this product have. The angle code could be the same as it won't wreck your body, as Medley Wine has. You can then fork that into a bunch of formats. And formats, I mean the media type, so static ads, videos, or UGC. You launch those ads, and as soon as you can see one of the ads is winning, you're gonna flood the market with winning variations. So you're gonna take that ad and make 5 to 10 variations under each media type. You're going to make 4 to 5 static variations, 4 to 5 video variations, and 4 to 5 UGC variations. And this way, you're going to have a very high volume of creatives without having to invent the wheel every time, because you're going to have a flywheel effect. So you're going to look at your product, see what angles do we have. You're going to test the angle. You're going to fork it into different media type. When you find the winner, you're going to flood the market with variations. And then you just keep doing that over and over again. And all of a sudden, your ad account will look like this. The next thing they're doing, which I think is a very, very good choice from them, is because they don't want to discount everywhere on their product and in their ads to devalue the positioning of their product, as we saw with the price anchoring, they're doing something quite interesting. So when you go to the site, one thing you would see is they have a very, very aggressive affiliate program where they're giving 35% commission, plus they're giving people discount codes. So if people buy from your link, the consumer would also get a free glass with their order with a $35 value. And the reason I think this is a good idea is because this one move has free compounding returns. So the $35 plus a free glass is roughly what it would cost you to buy a customer from either Meta or Google. But by doing it as an affiliate program, the way they do it is that they're getting a steady supply of new content from creators that is actively making content for them. And this can fuel both their paid ads and their organic content. As you can see here, they are using a lot of influencer content. The second thing is that it's giving them a bunch of backlinks from really, really big brands like The Kitchen. They actually have 870 active pages that is linking directly to them, which is increasing their domain ranking, but also giving them a permanent SEO asset that most of their competitors don't have. And lastly, it's generating direct sales with a lower CAC than most paid channels because you are converting a way warmer audience. So what you're going to see as soon as you start looking into it is that they have a bunch of influencers talking about their brand, showing it off, and talking about how much they love it. The result of this single offer is that it creates content, it gives them an SEO asset, and it generates sales. What I would do is, if I was you, is to look into what can I do where I can build one offer that I can use across everything. But when they have all this traffic, then how do they keep getting people back and actually going from first-time visitor to returning visitor? And one thing they do is they are actually increasing their conversion and brand value at the same time with the way they do pop-ups and emails. When you take a look at their pop-ups, one thing you would see is they're not doing the traditional way of 10% off. They're actually doing no discounts, and they again keep to the same offer, a free glass with your purchase. They're collecting both email and SMS to hit your multi-channel, and then they're giving you the discount code at the end. So instead of focusing on what the industry default is, which is 10 or 20% off your first order, they are actually focusing on the increasing perceived value. So when you do a 20% off, the listing price, for example, could be $100. You give the $20 in discount and the customer pays $80. This is lowering your perceived value. So the customer will see your product as less valuable. But if you do what Medley does, is that you're going to stack the value instead. So you get the wine and something extra. So here you get again with the $100 listed price, the gift is $35. So you're actually getting more. The customer only pays $100. So they feel like instead of getting $80 of value, they feel like they're getting $135 of value. So the perceived value goes up. And you can actually see they do this across their full funnel. So even their welcome flow, instead of doing discounts, in the first email, they deliver the promise, like here is your discount code. In the second one, they defend the format. So why do we do pouches? Here's all the benefits about the pouch and like why you should care. And then in the third email, they prove the product. So they are using a ton of social proof to tell you like, hey, all these customers love the product as well. Here's a lot of testimonials, and here's again the benefits of the product. And it's not only in their welcome flow, they even commit to this in their abandoned cart flow, where most people would think a discount is the way to go. So the first email they send you is social proof, like, hey, this is what our customer says about our products. The second email is an FAQ. So let's answer your questions, like why wouldn't you make an order? And then lastly, they're doing a final nudge with emotion, where they are talking about the brand story, how they are rooted in tradition, and why their wine is the way they are. So this is pretty much how Medley Wine is consistently winning and growing in a dying industry.